is there a partnership track? How you develop that so to get the support of someone who's kind of has stake in the game at that point? But it's it's hard partnership. Like when I talk to my associates, if there's a partnership track, I'm like, I'll make one, but it seems like so much work. I'm like, I don't even have time to even think about it. So let's I keep putting the back.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like I brought up parts of that in my one of my chapters of my book, but I want in a further about I want to further elaborate a whole chapter to dedicate to that because I honestly think that's the reason why small firms don't grow or they struggle so much with turnover
Hmm.
is because they can't retain that right hand
Yeah.
associate. I've seen it time and time again with a lot of my friends who it just didn't work and then they had to go start their own firm and then they had to go through all that struggles and
Hmm.
I'm just like I'm building a partnership track actually because I've watched all of that and my firm is 14 years old and I agree. I think that's a really key point. And the other thing that you and I worked on, John, I think we forget was we were both on that business school
Yeah.
conference back in December for Ayla, and there was one or two panels like specifically about building up your associates and about a partnership track. That was a really great program.
I made some notes when we were talking because we were talking about selling a law firm and how to get out. Part of that is maybe having a partnership that buys you out or like, over time. So that comes really important. The partnership track is towards the end sale. And everyone who starts a firm needs to think about how they're going to end it. So one of those things you
That's
need
right.
at the
You have
beginning.
to keep the end in mind and have your exit strategy. And exit strategy can't be like being carried off in a coffin, which
Yeah.
a lot of business owners think.
For
And
ancient souls, it's the standard. Yeah. It's like how
right,
half the
right.
field is. Yeah.
And a lot of times what happens is that people just sort of sell like a fire sale when they themselves or their spouse or somebody gets sick.
Yeah.
And that's not when to do it. You should be thinking about 10 years ahead and you should be building the systems in place because at some point I think your energy level doesn't sustain like all the things you did at the beginning of your
Yeah.
business
For
and
sure.
you need a nice little pretty bow on it to sell.
And it's coming back to when he said about the conference in December. One of the speakers was Corey Joseph in Colorado, and she essentially full time and helps teach operations management for law firms. I'm like, and when you mentioned the podcast you're listening to, I'm like, Kirby needs to do a podcast talking about this stuff. She'll get a lot of clients, but she's really I mean, this is what she does all day. She thinks about. So I'm going to reach out to her, remind her, hey, do a podcast or come on our show and talk about this stuff. It's really helpful.
Yeah, she and I were both the law practice management chairs of the law practice management committee for Ayla. And we worked closely together, and that's where I turned out a lot of articles on the topic, which helped be like the basis of my book. So she's great, and she's done the same. She's built a partner track for her firm, and I just talked to her recently, and sounds like it's going really well.